Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and welcome back to Let's Play Gundam Breaker 3. Last time my save file died. This time I didn't let that happen. We're gonna finish chapter 5 whether or not it kills this goddamn Vita. You might notice that the Gundam is different, again. We actually swapped out a lot of parts. So we got the Gundam XX legs and backpack. We got the Doven Wolf body because it has a unique EX action. The arms are the Hainu Gundam, but the head is still the unicorn. Never actually took the opportunity to look around the hangar, mainly because there's not a lot to see. The majority of interesting stuff that's going on is just there in the background. You can see all the different advertisements they got going on for all the different Gunpla. And they're all kind of neat. But the one thing that I haven't pointed out yet is what that is in the background there. You can barely see it on the main Vita screen. But it says, I believe it says Gunpla Battle Simulator. Battle in VR Simulator? Something like that. It's yeah, again, very hard to see. Notably, in Gundam Breaker 2, there was actually a ring around the top there that said the game takes place in something like 2034? And this game is supposed to take place after Gundam Breaker 2, I think. It's weird. It makes a little more sense once we actually get to the DLC, but for now, we're not at the DLC, so let's just hit up the next mission, which is Blizzard World Tournament Best 16. This is where the story really starts to kick in again. Although there's probably still going to be one or two more missions that we just need to do. The grind. Might as well let it play out. Really do need to change the visor color on the Unicorn Gundam there. I also did a little bit of upgrading. We've got a bit more durability. Hopefully it'll keep us alive for a slight bit longer. Few new skills, bit of batch merging. Nothing too out of the ordinary, just make us a little bit stronger. Kustraya? Yep, those are definitely some Kustraya shoulders, good god. Have you seen the size of the Kustraya box? Like, it's the size of the next grade up of kits. It's just huge. But anyway, the old tactic still works. Just hop on and don't stop firing the cannon until someone's lying on the ground with all their parts out. Then you can go and beat the shit out of them. That'll do. We haven't actually changed our weapons. Although, yes, our EX skills have changed, but no point using them quite yet. Cheeky circling bastards. Yeah, clearly they're pissed at me. They know who the big guy is around here. Well, where'd you go? There you are. That'll do. Someone tried to do a Moonlight Butterfly and it did not work out for him. Although, that's odd. A Moonlight Butterfly with backpack? Question mark? Gotcha. Where'd you go? Won't be for long. Job done. let's check out some of our new option equipment. Arm machine gun. Comes with the high new Gundam's arms. Not terrible. Again, relies on a bit of damage. We've always got a head Vulcan. Got a beam saber. It does at least actually hurt a little. All credit to it. But we also have the Mega Particle Cannon from our body. It's basically just a giant laser beam in our chest. Can't argue with giant laser beam in chest. Except with maybe a gigantic bazooka. Banshee! Banshee Norn, I believe. Indeed. Hyper Beam Sword. It is indeed a Hyper Beam Sword. It's huge. Very good. And Grenade Launcher. Just fires off grenades. What more do you want from a grenade launcher? What more could you possibly want? Alright, I think it's time to show off something a little bit more unique. What's our new EX action? That! Also, Blade Storm. Basically just the other one. I replaced the Tornado one because, frankly, it just wasn't that useful. Sure, it helps stick him there and it would do a little damage, but just not enough to make it worth it. Especially when you've got a fucking gigantic laser beam in your chest. Who doesn't love gigantic laser beams in the nipples? Although it's totally not in the nipples. Really happy I took all those durability upgrades. These guys can hurt. This is not being recorded the same day as the last part, because even I recognize that trying to do two 2-hour videos would be absolutely insane. This is being done on the exact next day, though, so good luck to me trying to find anything to talk about. As I said, I have no idea what state this memory card is in. This probably hasn't been in a Vita in like a year at the least, probably more than that. Hey, regular crossbone! Man, that railgun looks cool. Is it just me, or does that look like Piccolo's special beam cannon? Or, God, how do you pronounce it? I'm gonna have the Dragon Ball Z bridge problem here. Makuro Sappo? It just sounds weird even to me. Mega Launcher. That does look like it hurts him a bit. Not very often you get a part with its own bloody EX action. It's funny because I believe the new Gundam Breaker video would have actually come out at the same time as this. And like one of the very few things I appreciate about that game is how it gives every single part its own EX action. Or sometimes even a selection of them. Clever idea. Unfortunately, it also gets into the area of just being a bit too much. You've got too many EX actions, so they end up mattering a lot less. It would just be nice if they did something along the lines of, what's the word I'm looking for? If they did something along the lines of, say, making it so that a suit's exclusive EX actions or like option equipment would be on all of their parts to give you a little bit more room for customization. Then again, the ultimate thing would be letting you build your own parts in some way. I don't know how the hell you'd do it. You'd have to combine like different individual components and different joints and what have you. It would have to be way more in depth. What would my Ultimate Gundam Breaker game be? I mean, if I'm going to be frank about it, this bit harder and with more customization. That would probably do the trick for me, you know? This combat system works well enough. I'd appreciate it if it was a bit smoother, you know? But then again, the majority of my time with this game has been on the Vita version, which does not run at anything higher than 20 frames per second even normally, so... You know, smoother is just a given at this point, right? Let's make this a little bit more interesting for myself. Let's say I have to work off Gundam Breaker 3's base. Ooh, that would be another, Akatsuki, wouldn't it? Can't even see the bloody name. It's, yeah, the Hiranui. Hiranui? Iwashi? No, I can't see the text. Oh well. But yeah, let's say, for the purpose of argument and just making this a bit more interesting, I can only use what's already been made. So, Gundam Breaker 1, 2, and 3. I can only use what's in there. I think the trick would be to make it more roguelike-y. Make it a bit more procedural as to how missions end up, how, what, like, minions come along, what missions are offered, what bosses come along. More bosses would be nice. I can see that working with that sort of formula. Just have, like, dungeons, have, like, story missions. Like, I almost feel weird saying it should have, like, the model of the Division, but I could see it working relatively well with this series. The only reason the Division sucks is because it's Ubisoft, and they seem to magically suck all of the fun out of everything in order to make it appeal to the most common denominator. They're well within their right to do that, it just makes their games really fucking boring. Don't worry, we'll get to see that satellite cannon. I just want to save it for something that's a little bit more worth the time than a purple mook. Like this one, a red mook. It is the Gundam... God, I cannot read this text today. Versago, there we go. Alright, you know what? You're worth it. Let's see that satellite cannon go to work. Just after I beat the shit out of him a little more first. There is one big downside to the satellite cannon now, and that's its startup time. You just get to sit there and wait for it. But then it goes off. And kaboom! Pretty sure that's a full part breaker. It'll just rip everything off as soon as it touches something that's been staggered properly. Really just working with the massive beams, aren't we? We got the Mega Launcher, we got two kinds of railgun, we got the long rifle with its charge shot. And hell, we've even got access to the Mega Particle Cannon. Although it does fuck all damage, because I haven't been focusing on option equipment in this build. Yeah, it turned Gundam Breaker into a roguelike. You know, I actually liked a couple of the ideas for mission design that new Gundam Breaker came up with, but it just fumbled them. Like, having big open arenas that you could wander around was a neat idea. So was having, like, individual objectives that would pop up around the field. That would be great for, like, just a way to grind, or a special kind of mission, one that only comes up every so often, where you gotta wander around and find your targets. It'll also be a great way to make bigger bosses more threatening, to give them more room to move around, because every single major boss fight in this game takes place in a just a small circular arena for the most part. You kind of need to do something else with it in order to keep the bosses exciting. I am aware of the rumors that a Gundam Breaker 4 exists, and frankly, I don't believe them. Because not only do I not understand why they would be on a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Series X. Like, the PlayStation 5 I could buy. Like, I could see Bandai Namco being like, okay, you guys are the test bed for PlayStation 5 development. That isn't, like, Scarlet Nexus. But the Xbox Series X doesn't make any sense to me. That's not ever going to be popular in Japan, so I don't know why they would even bother, right? But then the fact that they call it Gundam Breaker 4, and the fact that the leak came from someone who was, let's just say their track record is not great, after having looked them up. This video is also coming out like months after that leak. So there is a chance that they'll announce Gundam Breaker 4. And I'll just be completely wrong. Like seriously, this is being recorded around, I believe tomorrow is the day that the EX episode for Chapter 3 comes out. So I do record these months in advance. Yeah, honestly, my number one thing would just be to make it deeper, make it slightly harder. Bit more variety in the mission types, the objectives, the level layouts and designs. You know, like, I really miss all the cafe levels from Gundam Breaker 2. They were fun to fight in. I don't know why they got rid of them. Well, they didn't technically get rid of them. There's one in the arena counter if you watched the first EX episode. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss it. You just need more, like, not so much dynamic missions, but, like, proc-gen missions would not go astray. Especially in this series. We haven't got to the DLC yet, but the DLC actually adds a few things that could really do to just be, like, put into more of a generic pool of stuff. It's hard to explain without getting to the DLC. I'm not going to spoil what's going on with the DLC, but... You already are the last. Bastard. Yeah, just go on. Keep trying it. I have infinite charge bullets on my long rifle. You have nothing. You have nothing. You are dead. Mega launcher. Yeah! Pretty sure we don't have to hit this one twice. I've been wrong before though. I've been wrong today too. Good job, me. Oh, bugger it. Pull back and unleash the satellite cannon. They absolutely debuffed it in Gundam Breaker 2, by the way. It took so long to fucking charge. Like, holy hell. I'm trying to get the other guy locked onto so I can... There we go. 2 ground breaks from 1 burst action is still pretty damn good, though. Gonna withdraw, are ya? He's just kind of got nowhere to run. That's the problem. Poor bastard. Like, they want to get away to get their parts back on so they'll actually be relevant again to the fight, but they just, they can't get behind cover or anything. They can't have their teammates defend them. That would be on the wish list for Gundam Breaker 4. Have AI that's actually capable of, like, supporting each other. I like the idea of the entire thing basically being a player versus player gauntlet. But again, new Gundam Breaker just fucked it. That's basically one of the more generous ways to explain it. They just screwed with the idea and it just didn't work. I can appreciate taking chances, but man, what a chance. Like betting on the two-legged retarded horse in the horse race. Or even then, it's not really that, because their ideas weren't bad on the face of it. It was just, I don't know. It was even the same devs. Maybe it was just like the one bad egg after a series of very good eggs. Now let's not talk about eggs. Fun fact about me and eggs. Crack an egg in front of me and I get nauseous. I found this out the hard way. And then someone had to clean up after me. I was a kid at the time, so wasn't like I could do it myself. I literally have nothing else to talk about until the story starts up again. It shouldn't be long. We've got like 4 missions left. It can't be much. My weapon just clipping through my shield there. Who is it? Sick. That's legitimately sick. Just the tricolor theme going on, buff-ass Gundams. Yeah, good designs. I like them. Now let's beat the shit out of them. Shame. I'm getting all these gold parts because I did a batch thing earlier, and I'm starting to actually see parts like I had back around Chapter 3 of my alternate universe game. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Treasure Hunter is the best ability you can possibly hope for. You need to get Treasure Hunter. As soon as you can get your hands on Treasure Hunter, you just fuse. It just lets you get more parts. It means more money. It means more chances to get better parts. It means higher skills. We are literally competing to be on a space station for the final rounds of this tournament. Don't be telling me to hold back a little. I do appreciate how they all get unique lines depending on the weapon you hit them with, the elemental damage. Here comes some more, they're gonna die. I don't know where that came from, I apologize. Yep. Here come the Greys. They look heavily armed. Where would they go with Gundam Breaker 4 when it comes to a story, though? I mean, there's more that you haven't seen yet. But you'll get the general idea soon enough. You know what I reckon they should do? I reckon they should have aliens. Have aliens come in and be like, we want to test humanity. We're going to do it through the realm of Gundam battle. It would be the dumbest thing imaginable. But I would enjoy it more than I care to admit. Then they would make the Stargazer Gundam. But I'd take the Stargazer Gundam, customize it, and I'd make it the Stargate Gundam. Because that's what I would do. Also in the news today, coincidentally enough, MGM got bought up by Amazon. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Because that means they're probably going to make something Stargate related. And God knows how badly that's going to turn out. Because 80-something% of these shows that come from these digital streaming services are all shit. And I don't think Stargate's going to get what it deserves. The only 2 DVDs I think I've ever bought for myself and my... Oh, well, there's a couple others, but... Like, the only 2 DVDs that I own right now are box sets of Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. What we got here? Ugly motherfuckers, apparently. Shouldn't be much left in this. This is the last time we'll be fighting a bunch of dudes like this in a row, though. Not by a long shot. Good one to pull off in mid-air, that one. Good for some combos. Completely missed that. But I was able to hit that. Take what you can get. I just realized now that I've gone with the yellow that I'm going to look a lot like Will when we eventually get around to taking out his pubescent ass. I just felt like a change of pace. It's a different color scheme. I don't usually go for the gold, but it actually looks pretty nice on this guy. Probably because it's using base Gundam parts. Bloody brain, work, no stroke, please. Because I'm using parts that like usually come off like mainline Gundams. Double X, Hainu, that big fat fucking shield from the GP02A. Although notably, I've got the cannons on the back just piercing right through. Ah, that's just what happens. Although it's still not as cool as that Enderman Gundam we saw back in the first EX episode. That was fucking sick. That was a miss. That wasn't. Okay. More? Probably. Yep. To the space arena this time. I don't remember, but I'm gonna guess this is gonna be a perfect raid. No. I stand corrected. It's a bunch of... Well, the front one's a little bit of a Snarju knockoff. We've got the Kustraya shoulders going on again. I've got Stargate on the brain apparently, because those of you who know Stargate will probably know of one episode called Ergo, No, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong one, actually. That's a completely different fact I'm going to have to bring up now because my brain's stuck on it. But, there's this one episode called, Tin Man, where one of the, greetings that the guy gives out is Comtrier. So every time I think of Kushtrier, I have to actively correct myself from saying Comtrier. It's quite embarrassing. And then the other fact is that the famous comedian Dom DeLuise had a son who turned out to be like one of the major directors on Stargate SG-1. Like, he did a ton of episodes. And of course, Dom DeLuise actually acted in an episode of Stargate SG-1, playing a sort of implanted AI known as Ergo. Yes, I know too many Stargate facts. I think this episode is going to be called the Chapter 5 Stargate references or something. I've got no idea. It's going to be something like that. It's dumb. Bit of a weird track to go on, but I mean, I guess it's science fiction, and if Gundam is anything, it's science fiction. It'd be great if it was science fact, though. Actually, no, it wouldn't. It would be a very bad idea, and you want to know why? Because in almost every single Gundam franchise, Australia gets nuked. In one way or another, Australia just ends up dead on the floor. In Gundam 79, the original colony drop takes out Sydney, Australia, and like a ton of the surrounding coastline, and that is roughly the area where I live, so I would be dead. And this is, like, they just copy-pasted this over into almost every other Gundam alternate universe. So if Gundam was real in any way, shape, or form, I would be dead, because Australia wouldn't bloody exist. You know what the funny thing is? I don't think they've ever even brought up if Australia exists in this universe. So there is a very good chance we got wiped out by something as a result, and we just haven't been told it yet. But yeah, that was easy. I was expecting like a perfect grade at the end. You'd think there would be, wouldn't you? Barely even used like a handful of my heals. Although the AI are pretty good at that. Oh hey, we got the Tornado Spark. So, actually that's a good question. How many of those do we have? No, I think I already showed some of them off, so I wouldn't be able to do like all 4 of them at once. Maybe it'd be worth doing in the alternate universe game where I've got a lot of that grinded up already. With that said though, let's move on. Keep this as quick as possible. Gaze into space. World Tournament semifinals. I wish you could customize the VR hanger. Although if it were me, I would probably just have the Gundam Breaker 1 VR hanger. I love that hanger. Maybe with an option to get up on the catwalks and just examine your Gundam from up there. Oh, whoops, I just shot my own fucking turret. Let's not do that. That was dumb. That was immensely dumb. Hello, fellas. That looked like a lot of Wing Gundam Zero backpacks there. But yeah, I'd love to customize the VR hanger. You know, pin-ups of all the Gundam girls. Statues of all the Gundam girls. Other things related to all the Gundam girls. Basically just Gundam girls. Stop making assumptions. But no, I'd like to do things like, make hangers. Let me display my own favorite Gunpla builds. Like have a bunch of different unicorn variations, or have all the builds I've been using throughout the game or something like that, just in different hangers, you know? Bit disappointing that you can't do that in all cases. See what I mean about the gold parts? Now that I've got decent treasure hunter rating, they're just fucking raining them down on me. Makes it a bit of a shame that I can't risk keeping this But I can't risk using this Vita to finish this game because it would be a great opportunity. But honestly, I think it's better in the long run to just go for the alternate universe game anyway, because it lets me do like a bunch of stuff I wouldn't be able to otherwise, like show off some of the rewards you get for playing on different difficulties, or buying all the parts, or doing some really wacky customizations because I have the stats to be able to pull it off, or stuff like that. Pet speeder, it's okay. Yep, you just saw me tapping the screen there, so I absolutely did do that. I didn't do a visual gag completely without purpose. He says lying through his teeth and getting saved by the freaking touch inputs. Exploit blocked. Great, my Minecraft server just got picked up by my bloody antivirus. Absolutely brilliant. I already told it to exclude that folder, so it's not paying attention to me. Thanks, Malwarebytes. It used to be good, but you've really gone down a hole recently. A hole of bullshit. At least the complete and utter miss can be made up for by the fact that you managed to hit him with a follow-up strike. No, actually, you know what the best format would be for Gundam Breaker 4? Phantasy Star Online 2. That would be the best. That would be the best way to go about it. Tons of individual missions for like story missions and what have you. Then you've got the special missions that come up from time to time. You've got emergency missions which are way tougher. You've got tons of opportunities to get resources and stuff like that. Basically just turn Gundam Breaker into Phantasy Star Online 2. I think that would be the best approach. Weird thinking about that because I didn't actually like that much about Phantasy Star Online 2, mainly due to the way the classes work, how the grind is going to take forever and it's going to be like the same missions and what have you, but I mean, convert that into a single player game and it would work. He says having played Phantasy Star Portal 2 Infinity and not particularly being enthused by it. But anyway, what else is in the news? Racing Lagoon fan translation is finally happening. I'm hoping by the time that this video is out, I'll have a video out on that, because it'll be done and dusted. I love fan translations. If it weren't for fan translations, I'm willing to bet we wouldn't have games like this. I don't know why I bother talking about modern day news when this video is going to come out in like 2 months. Makes it just completely irrelevant. I'm basically just dunking on him at this point. Just constantly going back and forth, just letting off every shot I can. Yeah, that would do it. I am absolutely willing to bet that they're not going to let us get away with just taking out the core this once. Although it is notable that this is one of the few core assault missions. Yep, we've got to do it 3 times. It is notable that this Battle Royale and this core assault mission are actually relatively short because they don't make you do gauntlets in between, which is unusual for this game. Although admittedly quite welcome, because this video isn't going to turn out to be 2 hours long, hopefully. We're only at the 40-minute mark. We're already on to our, like, 3rd mission at this point. How rare is that? funny thing is, well, the other two missions aren't that long either. Especially the finals. Like, I think the finals are like the shortest mission in the game if you're relatively geared up at this point. But then again, this is me we're talking about. I'm not so much relatively geared up as I am lucky. Just fill the screen with red. I don't think I'm going to waste my awakening here, because we got one more wave of these dudes to take out. Sure is bad for you, mate. I cannot hit shit with that. I just can't. I love it. Just the big, fancy twirl, and then it's just like, yeah, dead. Instant kill. Alright, come at me, bros. Alright, where he's at? There you are. Except not really, the other ones are going to spawn as well. There you all are. One down, 3 to go. The smart thing to do would be to get everyone's stagger meters really low. Then try and get them all in the same place and hit them all with the satellite cannon simultaneously. That would be the smart thing to do. But with the AI acting the way that they do, I'm willing to... Ooh, that looked mean. That felt mean. Ow! Yeah, with the AI acting the way that they do, and the AI for the enemy team being relatively unpredictable, might as well go for it anyway. Can't hurt. Surely I'll get at least one of them done and dusted. Just immediately smacked in the side of the face and just told to get lost with my bloody awakening there. Alright. Satellite cannon. Yeah, see, they're just like... Yeah, I'm just going to avoid that. I'm just going to stay out of the way of that. Like, smart thing for the AI to do, don't get me wrong. Just annoying. That was a lot of fucking parts that just fell off that guy. I feel bad for him. I mean, not really. You're the one thing stopping me from getting onto the space station. And if there's one thing we want to go, if there's one place we want to be, it's space. Although, ironically, we are currently in space. That's not that impressive. That bad? Yep, that bad. You're all fucked. I'm pretty sure there's one more after this. But again, it's been like a month since I last played these missions, so I'm not going to remember too well. What impudence! Reminds me of that bloody line from the Tales game that came out on Vita in English. It was a rapscallion. Not actually what she was saying. It was clearly a localization decision. I just found it to be unusual. 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 Can't even pronounce things right these days. I am an awful Let's Player. I absolutely am an awful Let's Player. I didn't realize that was where the mission ended. I'm grateful. 3 missions in 45 minutes. Gotta be a record. Alright, so we got Carnage Shot, which is one of the more powerful versions of those railguns, and I don't think we got much else worth of note. Okay.
皆さんご覧になれますか？現在私は地上から3万6000キロ静止軌道ステーションに来ています。間もなくこちらでガンプラバトル世界一を決める戦いが始まります。
さあ始めようか。
両チーム準備をお願いします。
Don't look at me with those eyes. Those green eyes. I see the pubescence behind them. Yeah, that was very little. The real story stuff comes after the next mission. Man, like, I played the DLC in my alternate universe game right after, and I'm really having trouble just getting them out of my head. But anyway, time stands still. World Tournament Finals. Oh, right, the new EX action. Let's just go get that before we, move on in. Actions. Killing Shot. Carnage Shot. And then the Stinger Shot is definitely gonna be, the next one to be upgraded. So, yeah, I picked hardcore for this, didn't I? I did, I'm actually doing the right thing. Let's go. Very rarely you get to see this arena. Admittedly, it is one of the nicer looking arenas in the game. Look at that big, beautiful blue ball. And here he is. It's Will. Very Astray-inspired frame. And he is an enemy player. He is a stronger enemy player. Also, he can do shit like that. He's extremely powerful. He can throw out EX actions like they're nothing. And admittedly, the first time you fight him, you might not be expecting this, but admittedly, just keep your heels up. You'll be fine. Seriously, he hits like a truck. Just be careful. Thankfully, he is also weak to getting his parts thrown off and being beaten senseless while he's on the ground. So, if you can do that, do that. It's worth your time to do that. The only downside being, since it's only him here, it makes generating power for... yeah, here we go, ground break. Makes generating power for EX actions kind of a pain, because it's just him. But, that's it. We legitimately kicked his ass. Can I just hold my shield in front of him? Just... Yep. You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's an old meme, sir, but it checks out. But anyway, proper story time. With, God forbid, when it decides it wants to load, please don't crash. I need you to be working for me right now. Please don't crash. I'm playing this off the cartridge. I'm being a good boy. I don't remember it taking this long before. This is a really bad sign. Come on, by the power of puberty. There we go. We're alright. Yeah, that's literally the end of the mission. Shortest mission in the entire game. He's a bit of a pain in the ass, but if you can break his parts off, you can easily get this done in a couple of minutes. You might be wondering, like, where the fuck, where's the story? He literally just ejaculated a virus out of his backpack. But yeah, here we go. Pre-rendered cutscenes! We actually get a couple of these at the very end of the game. But yep, we're floating now. Seems like a really bad idea for the things to just fall away like that. How much bloody damage will that do to the Earth if those get through the atmosphere? Like, where are all the staff? Where is everybody? The way that they do these cutscenes is like it's only like the Gunpla battlers and the MC up here. At least there's a little bit of eye candy while we die from lack of oxygen or food or atmospheric breach. Don't know why, but every time I look at Dorothy, I just think Giselle. Yep. We're all gonna fucking die, but there's always time to dunk on Misa. Door to the future. The final mission of the game. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we've already played this mission like 3 times. Every time you go into this virus environment, it's exactly the same layout. It's unfortunate. Yeah, it's a pretty typical, give me your energy speech. But ah well. Like, how much further can you take it without this becoming a children's card game situation? I mean, this already is a children's card game situation. This doesn't make any bloody sense. What sort of virus would let you actively try and beat it with a bloody... well, it's not even a children's toy. It's like a worldwide digital sport, but it's still just bloody weird. Also, is this a Providence Gundam? No, it's a Legend Gundam. I keep thinking it's the Providence, damn it. There are definitely some Providence Gundams here, because I just got their arms. So clearly I'm right about something. Which makes a nice change, considering how I'm usually wrong about literally everything. I really do wish they had like a roguelike setup for these levels would actually be perfect, right? It would legitimately be perfect for this kind of level because it's a virus. You don't know what it's going to look like on the inside. So every time you have to do a new virus level, it just pulls like some random Gundams, some random floor bits, turns it into a just into a unique little stage of its own. Makes sense to me. Also, yeah, that's Will helping us out there. Good job, Will. Although, yes, you might notice that we've got Will as a partner now. Again. And unfortunately, he's got some neat attacks on him, don't get me wrong. But again, he's just got the same survivability problems as the rest of the AI in that he just won't be able to survive by himself. They will all eventually go down, but thankfully when you've got 3 AI partners working, unless all 3 of them get hit by the same attack, which is definitely possible, but not very likely, doesn't happen often, they'll all be able to go and get each other back up. And since getting each other back up in this game is basically like a full heal, a full revive, it basically just, like, they can just keep reviving each other for the most part. And then they'll all be back at full health. Although, again, this doesn't massively matter, because you're about to unlock extreme difficulty. And the higher in difficulty that you go, that is a big fucking bean. The higher in difficulty that you go, I just realized that we didn't actually unlock the other EX action, and that's something. The higher that you go, the less survivability the AI has. It be unfortunate, but it be truth. I be caveman. Ugh like Gundam. It's about to let us through to the next area. Thankfully, they don't put turrets up on the columns to shoot down at you. But then again, this is me. I've had the ability that makes them just completely worthless when attacking me for a while at this point. So it doesn't really matter in the end. Although, admittedly, this still manages to be one of the more pretty locations. Like, let's just turn the lock-on off and just have a look around, shall we? Let them deal with it. It's just a really nice skybox. I've always been a sucker for nice skyboxes. Like, you put a nice skybox in your game, and I will give your game, like, an extra point just being a good skybox. Bloody Bulletstorm was a game that I didn't like very much for a couple of different reasons. Like, the writing was atrocious, and the gameplay could be a bit rough to get your head around, but every single skybox I saw in that game was lovely. Look at that spear. Look at that goddamn spear. It's just the speariest of spears. I don't know where he's planning on putting that. But there's going to be a marionette on the other end of it one way or another. I've made some weird references. I made references to the House of Fata Morgana, Linkin Park, and Stargate. Although, funnily enough, I think Linkin Park is actually a really good reference to make when it comes to Gundam, because it turns out they actually love Gundams. The lead singer, I believe, has like his own Gunpla collection. One of their music videos, it has a Gundam in it. It's like a really old music video, so it's a really old Gundam. It definitely doesn't stand up to ones that they put out today, and it's actually kind of funny to look at. And I also believe they did one of the theme songs for one of the updates for Gundam Extreme Versus. Like, they just flat out did the theme song for it. Weird. It's a weird fact, but it's I'm pretty sure it was Linkin Park, which is just kind of neat when that sort of thing happens, you know? Like, not the sort of major band you would expect to have like a kind of relationship with Gundam, but there you go. Yeah, there's the pit down there that you just got to drop into. It is legitimately the same layout. The only reason I bring up that it's the same layout is because this is not the last time you play the stage. You play the stage like 3 or 4 times in the DLC, and it's the same stage every single bloody time. So the layout just becomes drilled into your brain. It's not like the other layouts where they're at least generic enough that they're not too bad. Although there are a couple that, you know, you do get used to, like the ones where you have to constantly be going up ramps or what have you. You know exactly what ramps you need to go up and all that. Modifiable stages would be neat, where they could just like add and remove pieces so that you could at least take a different route through the stage every time. But again, I'm just rambling. I miss when Gundam Breaker was actually a nice name. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah, we were talking about the DLC and just how this stage just gets repeated like 3 or 4 times. Just disappointing is all. It would probably help the survivability of the AI if I had like any healing EX actions, because they'd just be applied across the whole party. But no, I don't. Because I don't need them. I've got enough like standalone healing kits to make it work, so... I do kind of miss the dramatic finishes though. I don't know how you'd integrate them into Gundam Breaker 3. Just in the Gundam Breaker 3 gameplay style. I really don't. But it would still be fun to do. Although I guess you would technically have your dramatic finish as you're starting up your awakening, although it's not so much a dramatic finish as a dramatic start. Which again makes it all the more funnier when someone just immediately knocks you flat on your ass. I cannot hit these dudes in the air with these EX actions. Why do I bother trying? Anyway, I did say the stage was the same. It's not. You know it. You love it. If you've seen Unicorn, it's the Neo Zeong. It's a bit weird that neither of them know what it is. Like, you'd think that Misa would know that this is a Neo Zeong. It's bloody obvious. But I guess not. So, the Neo Zeong. Basically do the same strategy as all the other bosses. Stay back and beat the shit out of it. I mean, you can go in close for melee, but you gotta be careful. When that happens, yeah. Well, it's kind of neat that the boss actually gets its own unique voice lines there. This is fun. Roboter, where are you, buddy? Oh, no, never mind. Well, that was 2 voice lines combined into one. I haven't seen that before. But yes, look. I am now constricted. Not great. Not great at all. Come on, Roboter, up you get. Yes, this boss does have multiple phases. That's got a sting. Run! As far as I know, there's no way to get rid of these things. You just need to kinda... Where are you guys? Here's nope. You got one back up. I'll go get Will. Just immediately. This is why you keep avoid instant death as soon as you get it. Because these attacks hurt. Oh, fuck. Oh, there we go. Ow. Ow. You're gonna be draining my health from me and just sitting still. I'll just take the opportunity to beat the shit out of ya. Didn't think that was it, did ya? Didn't notice something missing? Unable to attack due to virus. Yep, just your EX actions don't work. You can't shoot. You can dodge, thankfully. I'd recommend just doing endless dodges. Because, yep. Thankfully, it doesn't take long for them to decide. It's probably a bad idea to not let them attack. What a phrase. By God and Gunpla. Yep, it's the heroic rescue, basically.
父さんじゃミサを助けられない。だから娘のことは君に任せる。
So emotional. You don't have to remember this is all virtual reality, so they aren't gonna die. This isn't gonna hurt them. What? They were doing this outside too. How stupid would they have looked? What sort of equipment do you need? They're all just standing there. It's the It took me a little while to realize this doesn't make any sense. Look, just the robot there, just with the satellite dish coming out of the head. That's a tiny ass satellite dish. That would not get into space, surely. But yes. It's us! Dun dun dun. I don't actually think this changes the fight in any meaningful way, but you can see yourself in the Gunpla if you get close enough. That's a challenge though! But yeah, there is a bunch of new attacks, including this one! Coolest attack in the fucking game? Just because of how fucking huge it is? Unfortunately, it's incredibly easy to dodge. All you need to do is get to the edge of the arena because the damn thing doesn't know how to turn. Oh dear. Yep, there goes all my parts, but you can see up there, that's us. And that does indeed change. It is indeed your Gunpla. Funny story, I actually made my Gunpla, like the same sort of Zeong red paint job. The first time I actually ended up fighting this boss, and I could not see, I could not see my Gunpla in there just because I had gotten the red right, mainly through using the you know what. But yeah, there's a new bunch of attacks. They all hurt like hell because of course they do. Just stay out of the way, keep shooting it, and you'll do fine. And whenever he backs off like this, you know the colony laser is coming. So just get to the side and you'll be fine. You were cutting it a little bit close there, Robota, but then Will was cutting it even closer. Notably, you can still do damage to the damn thing even while standing there firing off the colony laser. Just don't get hit by the colony laser. It hurts really badly. Although, you know what, for the purpose of demonstration, I will go and stand right in the middle of it the next time it tries to pop it out, because there is no way I'm going to kill it. I am not going to kill it before I can pull off another one. I do believe it gets a second phase worth of attacks, but I don't remember it being particularly notable. You're seeing everything there is to see. Generate the colony laser and just knocks you out of the way. I remember it being so much more painful. You would think that would be instant kill. Ah, doesn't matter. have to do anything else, really. I can just keep shooting. Unusual for a virus to be polite, I think, but oh well. You might call it cheap to just be standing out of the way and just continually shooting at it, but there is legitimately no other way to do damage to the damn thing that isn't just standing back and shooting at it when it pulls out the colony laser. So it's like, what do you expect me to do? Tell you what, Mega Launcher. There we go. Big chest beam cannon. I probably could have gone for the satellite cannon, but it would have ended up the same way, I think. Yeah, we just made a big sword out of holding hands energy. Keep telling you, man. The most lewd thing in the universe. But anyway, I believe from this point on, it is nothing but cutscenes, so I just need to set my Vita down without disconnecting the video capture cable. I believe I have successfully done so, thank God. Although I don't remember if we get a mission completion screen before this or after this. I think it's before the final set of cutscenes play. Anytime it decides it wants to let us do that, of course. Man, Gundam Breaker 3 just could not run on Vita at all, could it? Amazing they made it happen. Yep, here is the mission completion screen. So this will be the last we see of Dumb on the victory screen here, I believe, which is unfortunate because we just unlocked Breaker Shot. Didn't get much of worth here, though. It's not a very good mission for loot, which is unfortunate considering it's the final mission of the game.
よっしゃやったぞお前ら
現状分析の結果緊急離脱プログラムが作動していますが原因と思われる事故などの報告がありません私は誤作動をしていたのでしょうか
お前が悪いんじゃないコンピューターウイルスにやられてたのさ
しかしながら皆さんを巻き込んで軌道を離脱するなどあってはならないことです私はどうすればいいのでしょうか
軌道修正プロセスを実行するんだ静止軌道に戻ればテザーを再接続できる
了解軌道修正プロセスを実行しますカウンターウェイトパージカウンターウェイト経由デバイスが見つかりません
なんだと
カウンターウェイト経由デバイスが見つかりません
まさかやられたカウンターウェイトへのインターフェースが丸ごと消えてるどんだけ周到なんだよ
ねえ聞きたくないんだけど
Why ask?
どういうこと
カウンターウェイトを切り離さない限りステーションのスラスター出力じゃ元の軌道に戻れない
じゃあつまり
僕たちは帰れない
そんな
おい何か他に手段はないのか
ありません
物理的にテザーを切断できないか
備え付けの工具にテザーを切断できるものはありませんまた皆様の中に EVA 経験者はいらっしゃいません
No staff, no nothing. As I said, it really is just like, it's like the 5 of them up there.
今度のお茶菓子は何がいいですか
Like, hey, just have this entire space station to yourself. This multi-billion dollar, if not trillion dollar space station.
そうですかそうですねそれでも皆さん せっかくですから
Didn't
こ
we
の
just
星
have
空を
tea
見な
before
がら
we
お茶を
attempted this?
私このような事態においていささか動転しているようです。窓の外に RX78 が飛んでいるのが見えます。
Yes. Yes, she can. Yeah, this just comes out of fucking nowhere. It's great. Look who it is. It's Shorty.
ランデブーポイントだと思ったぞ。
姉さん、私もうダメ。
That's a real good ping time to the fucking Earth.
仕上げて飛ばしたんだ。私ももう何日寝てないかわかんないし限界だ。
I get higher ping than that when I try to play games that have their servers set in America. Uh-oh. Whoops. Now you know that I've actually played this on video. Shit.
ありがとうございます。なんつって。
よくこんなに早く飛ばせたな。宇宙ロケットだぞ。
あなたの演説に社長が感銘を受けましてね。よそに回す予定のやつ使っちゃいました。まあそっちの偉いさんも2つ返事で OK くれましたけどね。
そうか。感謝する。
最近雇ったバイトが優秀で準備もあっという間でしたよ。今変わりますね。
おい、聞こえるか？
生きてる？月見くん、ミスラちゃん。
俺たちも頑張るから諦めんなよ。
ロケットくらい何度でも飛ばしてあげるから。ありがとう。みんなで必ず帰るよ。すごいすごい、動いた。
たく、なんでジョーちゃんまで乗ってるんだ？
こんなの乗らないわけないでしょ。皆さんご覧になってますか？今私たちの目の前でガンダムが飛び立ちました。宇宙時代への扉をその手で開くために。坊ちゃま、よろしかったのですか？
何が？
ものすごく乗りたそうだったじゃないですか。
僕はそんなに子供じゃない。
お茶入れます。
Again?
どうだ、すげえだろ？
あれ、ずいぶん昔に作られたやつだろ。よく残ってたね。
実際、老朽化が進んで廃棄される予定だったのをハイムロボティクスが引き取って、俺たちが業務時間外に中身作り直してたんだ。実際に乗れるやつ作ったら面白いだろうなってな。
物好きだな。
あれはあの商店街と同じだよ。時代が変わって忘れられようとしていたものだ。
You know, considering how popular Gundam Battle is,
残したいと思う
you would
やつ
think, in this universe, you would think that that gigantic Gundam would never get forgotten. You would think someone would
な
want
くし
it.
たものを取り戻せるだろうか。
簡単さ。忘れたものを思い出すだけでいい。
This story is weird, man.
皆さん、お茶が入りましたよ。
そろそろポイントだよ。うわー、地球だ。私たち人類初のモビルスーツ乗りだよね。こんなものに乗ってこんなところまで来て、すごい未来に来ちゃったよ。私、君に会えてよかった。あの時ゲーセンで声をかけて本当によかった。ここまで連れてきてくれて本当にありがとう。あのさ、地上に戻ったら。
ああ、お楽しみのとこ悪いんだが、やることやってくれるか？
なんだよもう。あ、このボタンだよ、ビームサーベル。何これ、ビームサーベル。
What was she expecting?
そんなもん。
This is why we make fun of her.
まだまだ未来はこれからだね。
Yeah, that's it. That's where it ends. You don't even get to see, like, the cord be cut. It's just logo, credits. Also, really annoying to me, but in a completely unreasonable way. Tomogazu Sugita. He's in literally everything. Like, there are so many Japanese voice actors who do an absolute ton of just, like, projects in general, right? But he is everywhere. He is the James Arnold. He is the Troy Baker of Japanese voice game acting. It's bizarre how many games he's in. I swear, it's like a 50-50 chance whether or not a game I pick up from Japan will have him as a VA. But anyway, that was Gundam Breaker 3. We just get to sit through the credits now. And you might think that was a bit of an anticlimactic ending, and that's true, because the story actually continues into the downloadable content, which is not something that they had done in this series up to this point, because they didn't have, like, paid DLC. There are 6 DLC packs, and they do indeed continue the story from one to the other, except, like, there was one they released for free, which doesn't really, but then the other 5 are just, like, a completely new story arc that makes a little bit more sense, but not really, and you'll see why when we get to them. I'll be doing videos on them eventually, but for now at least, I will be putting this game down and letting it breathe for a little bit, although, considering that I've recorded these Let's Plays, like, at least a month in advance, there's a good chance that by the time you actually see this video, I'll have actually gotten those videos done. But to be specific about what it is that I'll be playing next on the channel, around the time that this goes up, it'll be Biomutant and Earth Defense Force World Brothers. So, yeah, I'll have other things to do, and maybe I'll get that Unmetal Let's Play rolling up as well. I need to actually play through that, see if I can find most of the secrets and all that. Although I don't think I'll be going through the effort of finding things like all the bloody potties that are all over the place. Who knows? Oh god, I can't remember if there's a post-credits cutscene or not. I don't think there is, but we're just gonna let the credits roll anyway. There's probably even a song going on in the background, but I can't hear it because I don't have my sound on. Hey! But yeah, Gundam Breaker 3 is still a great game. I've heard a few people, well not a few people, like a couple, like maybe 1 or 2, say that they were gonna pick this game up based on the Let's Play. So, you know, mission accomplished. Hopefully it'll make Bandai Namco consider making Gundam Breaker 4. And it would be really nice to see it on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Or at least just PS5, you know, really take advantage of the power of things like the SSD. I don't know what you would do with that, but it would be interesting to see nonetheless. William Wang and Chad Park. Ah, the internet has ruined me. You did a good job this time around, Mark Simmons. And Tisha Yeo. How the hell do you even pronounce that? Holy crap. But yeah, the localization for this was actually fine. No major problem with it. As far as I can tell, anyway. Nowhere near as bad as Hollow Fragment. Special thanks, the Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus team. Interesting special thanks. I wonder why they're there. Thankfully, these credits don't go for absolutely ages. But they still go for a fair bit. It really takes a lot of people to make a fucking video game. Yeah, that is indeed Gundam Breaker 3. If I remember correctly, right after the Crafts and Meister logo.
結局それから地上に戻るまで何週間もかかったけど戻れるとなったらみんな旅行気分で宇宙を楽しんだ不測の事態から復帰した宇宙エレベーターは逆に信頼性がアピールされることになりそれまでののろさが嘘のように宇宙開発計画が動き始めているなんかプロパガンダに利用されたようで釈然としないけどこれなら生きているうちに本当に宇宙旅行へ行ける日が来るかもしれない
They call that foreshadowing.
病院で検査を受けたり 込みのインタビューを受けたりで最近ようやく落ち着いたところだ。そして
いらっしゃいませ。
お、来た来た。
待ちかねたよ。
それでは皆さん、早速ですが始めましょう。中断してしまったガンプラバトル世界大会決勝、勝手にリマッチ。
I beat the shit out of you. I beat the ever-loving shit out of Will. I groundbreaked him. He was dead.
だろし。
勝った方が来月からのタイムズユニバース百貨店と綾戸商店街のコラボキャンペーンで先に名前を書くことができます。
なんだよそれ、つまんねえよ。
何を言うんだ。そもそもうちと肩を並べるだけでも商店街的には破格の条件だろ。
んだとこら、潰してやんぞあの駅前ビルよ。私からはこのトロフィーを進呈しよう。
なんかボロっち。あ、それってもしかして。
まだ取っておいてあったのか。
捨てられなくてね。
もう一声何かないのか？
勝った方にはミサちゃんのキスよ。
ちょっと。
娘をかけてのバトルか。胸が熱くなるね。おめえ親父としてその感想。
Yes, admittedly, that is quite weird.
あんたたちかけな。
盛り上がってまいりました。それではバトル開始してください。
さあ決着をつけよう。
If you're going straight for the DLC, get used to that screen. That one comes up like 6 times. But nevertheless, that's it. We're put back out to the main menu. There is more to be done, of course. But for now, that's the end. This has been Blue Maxima. I'll see you all next time.